Hello and welcome to my Devtoberfest session, what software developers should know about Key User Extensibility. My name is Thomas Schneider. I'm Chief Development Architect and Area Product Owner in the ABAP platform, responsible for extensibility tools. So this is a developer conference, and you guys may ask yourself, okay, why is this guy talking about Key User Extensibility? Or in other words, why should you as a developer take care about Key User Extensibility? I've listed two answers here. The first one is that your company might roll out a key user strategy to LOBs. That means you have empowered key users who are working with key user tools actively in the business department, and you as a developer want to understand them, want to support them, and also work together with them. The second one is that you as a developer will use key user tools to make your life easier, and in some cases, they are just the better tool. Let me show the agenda first. I will first give an overview on SAP Extensibility. Then I will talk about developer and key user extensibility relationship. Then I will give an overview over the key user extensibility tools, talk about the integration with side-by-side extensibility. And finally, last not least, I will show what in the future AI can do in the area of extensibility. So let me come here to the overview session. Let me start with the motivation. We are talking about cloud software these days, and in the cloud software, there is a clear separation of concern between the user, the consumer of the software, and the provider of the software. And one important aspect is that the software provider at any time may patch and upgrade the software. That means all extensibility must accept this and must be prepared for this. That means only extensibility that does not block SAP software updates and continue to work after the upgrade is allowed. That means customer extension must be lifecycle stable. They must be, for example, modification-free, clash-free, only released APIs and events and extension points are used, and they must be compliant with zero downtime principle. This is, of course, a must for public cloud solutions, but also on-premise and private cloud customers are going into this direction. The extensions can be on stack or side by side, and I will go into more details on the next screen. You can see here the S/4HANA Cloud application, and you can see that you have on-stack application that run on the same stack as the core application, as S/4HANA Cloud in this area. And we have here two types of extension, or two patterns. One is that you could extend an SAP application, for example, add a custom field, add some custom logic of an existing application. The second one would be that you create a new app on stack that uses the data from S/4HANA Cloud. Both is possible by using public stable extension points and local APIs. And then on the right-hand side, we see the side-by-side side of the house, the new apps running on SAP Business Technology Platform. They can use remote APIs and they can and events from the S/4HANA system. That could be events provided by the SAP application itself or by an extension. The third slide shows here the extensibility portfolio from the point of the tool side. We see here again on the left-hand side the on-stack extensibility, on the right-hand side the side-by-side extensibility. And now I have a new classification introduced. That's the low-code and the pro-code tools. Low-code tools, and you can see 6 bubbles here. Low-code tools, for example, on-stack. This is the S/4HANA Cloud Key Extensibility, Key User Extensibility. That's my main topic for today. And then we have also on stack here the developer extensibility as a pro-code offering for developers. Then on the SAP BTP side, we have the same. We have the low-code tools, SAP Build Apps, SAP Build Process Integration, SAP Build Workzone, and we have the pro-code offering in SAP Build Code. That's, for example, here the cloud application programming model. That's the cloud application programming model. But includes also the business application studio, basically all the no-code, the non-ABAP non-ABAP options. And then for the ABAP options, we have the SAP BTP ABAP environment. Currently, there is a rebranding of the SAP build that is explained in other sessions. I don't want to go into details, that all of this stuff is covered now by SAP build. Then we have here classic extensibility, which is available on premise only, and which is not clean code. On this slide, I have a roadmap because you will ask yourself, how will I find the right extensibility option? Yeah, and here I have taken a roadmap. You have taken a roadmap that goes here to the different steps that you could go through, and in the end you will get here an information. Should I use Key User Extensibility, on-stack developer extensibility, or side-by-side extensibility? I will not go through the different options in detail, but I will refer to the document that I will provide the link then in the chat. Yeah, let me now talk about coming nearer to my topic of Key User Extensibility. Let me talk about developer and Key User Extensibility now. So SAP has identified two type of persona, or two persona who are doing extensions. The first is the developer. Okay, you know all what a developer does. And the second one is a key user. Key user is a business expert who is working in the line of business, and either as an employee of the application or as an implementation consultant who helps the line of business with a respective implementation concept. And we distinguish, and when S/4HANA Cloud or S/4HANA was launched about 8 years ago, SAP provided a complete new set of extensibility tools, the so-called Key User Extensibility tools, which have less task complexity than the developer tools, and of course also less feature richness. So they are designed so that key users can perform simple tasks in an easy way. They are easy to use and get lifecycle stable extension. Often they have a WYSIWYG working mode and instant testing included to provide a low entry barrier. So at this point in time, this slide first. Here I have an overview over this. I have two screenshots on the developer tools. So here for the developer, you know, the integrated development, the IDE, is ABAP in Eclipse, which is the IDE for modern ABAP development. And for business expert, the low-code, no-code tools, they are integrated in Fiori, so they are Fiori tools. Before I go further into details, I would want to show here an overview picture that shows where the key user extensibility tools are located. So I have here an overview diagram over a typical Fiori application, starting here from a database table, then the application written in ABAP CDS, maybe with a RAP programming model, then an OData service, the user interface with Fiori, and finally the Fiori Launchpad. So where can you find the key user tools? So we have the UI adaptation, where you can adapt the user interface. Then we have the custom fields, where you can add new custom fields to the database table, to the application, to the OData service. Then we have tools for custom analytics and forms. We have tools for business logic, implementing, for example, bodies in the application. Then we have here the tools for custom business object, where you can create a complete business object, database table again, application and OData service, including even the custom UI. And then we have here the last but not least, the possibility to extend the Fiori Launchpad. So now I have listed here the most important key user and the developer scenarios. Starting here with the UI adaptation, I already mentioned the UI adaptation mode, which is integrated in the Fiori Launchpad. You can do the same with the and even more with developer extensibility with an UI adaptation project in the Business Application Studio. Then for extension field, we have the custom field Fiori app, which I will demo in a minute. And you can create an extension field also with the ABAP development tools. And we have here on the key user extensibility side custom business object, which I showed before. On the developer side, you would create a complete RAP business objects with the developer tools. And we have CDS view and OData service, which you can create here in the key user world with the custom CDS view app. And here again with the editor and wizard in the developer extensibility. Finally, we have a lot of applications for creating analytical queries and analytical applications, which create embedded analytics using here various Fiori apps and of course SAP Analytics Cloud. And here the tools on the developer side, the editor, CDS editor in this case, for example, where you can also create queries and then use them in SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay, let's be more tangible and go in a demo and show now in the example of an extension field how you create this with key user tools and with developer tools to give you an impression how the different tools work. Now, I'm here now logged on into S/4HANA public cloud system, and now I want to create a custom field using key user extensibility. And first, I start the application that I want to extend. Yeah, I go here to the sales order app as my first application and open here a sales order. And while this loads, I'm now going here to the context menu from Fiori Launchpad. I'm choosing here the option Adapt UI, and here the Adapt UI option opens. And now you might have seen this before. I can move around here, for example, fields. I can rename and remove them. And what I want to do here is that I want to add a field. So the first thing is what I can do. I can add a field which is already here in the OData service. To the UI, but now I want to create a net new field, as we have seen in the diagram from the database through the application into the OData service. And here this opens the Fiori app custom fields for me. And now I need the plus button here. I'm already in the business context of the sales document because the app was started from the sales order, and I can just go on here to say plus and say here enter a label, a reason, and I can select here from a limited number of types. For example, I can choose here code list. I can add the length here and create here a description for various code, create here various code, and then I would just create it. Yeah, and then I'm done. After I will not do this for the sake of time because this takes a couple of minutes. You can see here I have already created a field that's called reason for demo, with key user extensibility. And now I go back to the sales order screen and I just want to now add this to the UI. I say plus, I can now search here for reason, and I can see here this reason for demo, key user extensibility, and I just could click it and then add it to the screen. You see here also a field that is called reason for demo dev. That is a field that I created with developer extensibility, and I show in a minute how I did this. Yeah. So here I just want to add it here to the screen, and then basically I'm done. Yeah, I've done this before, therefore it's already filled here. Then of course I have to activate it and create a new version. I will do this not because I want to spare some time. So I will just leave the demo at this point in time and discard the stuff. Okay, so now I want to show how I can create a custom field with developer extensibility. So first, the starting point is different. Yeah? In developer extensibility, you should know how your custom business object looks like. And here I have you go, for example, here to extend in cloud development, and here you find all the core data service and also the business objects that are extensible. Yeah, and I've gone here to the data definition, and then I go here to the I underscore, try to find quickly the I underscore sales order quickly. There it is, I underscore sales order TP. And this is extensible. And now from here, I can say now generate ABAP repository objects. And now you have several wizards. You have wizards, I think, seen in other Devtoberfest sessions. And I'm choosing here the extension field wizard and go to next. And now I'm a developer, so first I have to create a package. Yeah, in the custom, the key user extensibility, this is done under the hood. Here I need a package, for example. And now I can create here a new custom field. There is already, I have it, give it a name here. Let's say reason 2 score. There is already a pattern, give it a label, give it a data element, SAP S. So we are working here not with predefined elements like in the key user field, but here you have work with a data element. Then you can give it here a semantic type. I do not want to do this, and it asks me, okay, generate UI adaptation. I want to have it. And here you can see what is being extended. What is being extended? Okay, it does not want to open. I don't know why. Maybe this has something to do with the recording here. Does not matter. Okay, so then I click something missing here. Add. Sorry, that was the, had to close this one. And then it tells me what is being extended. Yeah, I don't want to go into details now. And then now it says, for example, here, this is the CDS view, which is under the OData service. And it asks me, do you want to extend it? And I say, yes, I want to extend it. And then I go to next. Finally, I have to specify a transport. No, it tells me what is being created. Yeah, for example, here the extend view for the C underscore sales order manage CDS view. And finally, it asks for a transport request. And when I click now finish, the objects are being created that you have seen before. Yeah. So the same stuff is under the hood, generated in the key user tool, completely hidden. And here you can see all the objects. And once you have created, they are yours. Yeah, you can edit them. What you cannot do in the key user world, but of course you have to manage them by your own. But in the end, as you have seen in the UI, the field is there and you can use it. And the final thing that I want to show you is a piece of ABAP code, which contains here a select statement on the I sales order TP. And you can see here the key user field and the developer extensibility field that I have created before. And you can see that you can use both. Yeah, here once in a select statement, and here I have the same in EML statement, where you can see here also the key user and developer extensibility field. Yeah, that's for this point. Then I'm going back to the presentation and back into presentation mode. That was my demo for this part. To summarize this, when working with key user objects, you should keep in mind that the objects that are generated by the key user tool are so to say private property of the key user tool. Yeah, so you can see them as a developer in ADT. You can even debug them, but you can never edit them with ABAP developer tools. Yeah, they are protected. Of course, in on-premise, in theory, you can do everything, and with a debugger, you can remove the protection, but you should never do this because they are really managed by the key user tool. Yeah, they are separated by name range, software component, and ABAP package, and even the access between the key user and developer extensibility objects are restricted. Yeah. So that's what you should keep in mind when you're working with key user objects, that you should not do this. The last question you might ask yourself, when to use what? When to use key user extensibility and when developer extensibility. So the guideline is, that was also on the slide with the roadmap. If you are a key user, then use key user object. If you are a developer, then use developer objects. But there are some exceptions. For example, UI adaptation mode here, and the key user UI adaptation mode is much easier to use than a UI adaptation project. So in some cases, you would want really only to use here the UI adaptation model, the UI adaptation mode. And for extension field, our recommendation is currently really also as a developer to use the Fiori app, to use the key user app. So that was this part. So now let me give an overview on the key user extensibility tools. I want to apologize that I cannot go through each and every tool and demo it. Yeah, I would love to, but that would need another hour which I do not have here. So I will rather quickly go over the different tools and the different slide. Yeah, so the first tool, I showed this before, is the UI adaptation mode. And for the UI adaptation mode I have one other short demo, which is, to my opinion, the most underrated extensibility feature at all. So I start here another application, the Manage Workforce application. Open an employee here. Go here to the UI adaptation mode. Okay. And now this opens, and now I say here, embed content as new section. And now I can add here a new section with new content from an external system, for example, and I say here, give it a title that is greetings. And now I have to go to my cheat sheet and copy here the URL to an external service. This external service was developed on Steampunk, on SAP BTP ABAP. And let me show the preview here. It just says hello, and then it concatenates a first name and a last name. And then I don't want to have it hello last first. I now want to have the data here from the concrete UI. That means I go here to first. Now click first and say here first name John, last name Doe, and then update preview, and it says update John Doe, and I want to height of 10%, and I just save. And here I have this very nice new section which integrates now external content as a sort of measure. Of course, before I did this, I did some identity and access management stuff to allow the access to the other system. So maybe I've planned a block where I describe also these things. But I think this is a very, very cool feature, which is unfortunately not much known yet. Skip this completely. Second one, the key user tool, the custom fields key user tool. I've already demoed this, so I can skip this also. Then in the area of custom fields, we have also data extensions, so data source extensions. What I showed is how to create a custom field from scratch. That means starting in the database. But you have also sometimes the case that you have SAP fields on the database in some released CDS view that you want to use in other CDS view in other OData service. You can use data source extensions for this purpose. Then we have custom business object. I already mentioned this and showed this on the overview slide. So you can create a new custom business object here. Then custom logic. You can implement bodies and also BDEV extensions with the key user tools. Here we have an own ABAP language version. You know the ABAP language version for cloud development that you are using when you are working in tier 1 or in the public cloud environment with developer extensibility. We have an even stricter version for key users that is automatically created when you are working here with the key user tools. With key user tools, you can create custom code lists, and you can also create reuse libraries. I would refer here really to the documentation so that you can check this out. For key users, we have a special Fiori-based tracing app. I mentioned this. So key users cannot debug their code. They have a very good tracing app. You as a developer with ADT can also debug the key user code. There is when you open the documentation for the tracing app, there is also a hint how you can debug it as a developer. Then we have the so-called Xcode library, the extension components, where we have a library of reuse services for string, UUID, regular expression time, JSON, and so on. Then custom CDS view is a very important key user tool. You can create custom CDS view and expose them, for example, as data sources to the analytics world or as OData service to the outside world. Then we have the custom analytics query, also query builder, the alternative name where you can create custom queries. Then further in the area of analytics extensibility, we have managed KPI and reports, which is the embedded way of creating analytical applications and tiles with KPIs. Then, of course, we have the offering Business Analytics Cloud, which is integrated with S4, which I do not have here on my slide. Custom catalog extension, you need to extend the Fiori Launchpad. So if you want to bring, for example, the tile for a new custom business object to the Fiori Launchpad, or a new KPI, or a custom tile or an analytic cloud story to the FLP, you need a custom catalog extension. Then custom tile you would use if you just need a simple tile to an external source. Custom communication you need if you have created a data service with a custom CDS view app to expose this to the outside world. Then we have custom forms. There we have the key user tools for Adobe Forms Designer, which is the solution for print forms and for email templates. And finally, we have the Maintain Translation app, where you can translate the text, the key user text, into various languages. So that's this part. Then we have apps that are for discovery. For example, we have the View browser where you can see the details of all CDS views. We have the Extensibility Cockpit where you can see the details of all extensible objects like CDS view or data service bodies and so on. Then we have the Extensibility Inventory application where you can see all the objects that you have created. All the key user objects that we have been created, including all the dependencies. And we have, of course, for key user extensibility, lifecycle management with the export software collection app and the import collection app, which is in public cloud only. So one last slide. Again, I'm very sorry that I cannot go into the details here and that I really ran over the slides. But if you're really interested in the details, then you would check out the documentation or also my blogs on these tools. One final word on the key user tools in on-premise and private cloud. The key user tools are also not only in public cloud, but also on-premise and private cloud. Some differences. In both versions, the tool provides access to released APIs and extension points only. I mentioned this before. All objects created by key user tools are visible in ABAP development tools, can be analyzed, tested, and debugged. Of course, changes are not recommended. I mentioned this. That's not only true in on-premise and private cloud. You can also see them in public cloud. Now, for on-premise and private cloud, the objects created by key user tools are managed with normal customer transports. So there you have the traditional classic transport system in place. Strong recommendation to keep the objects managed by key user tools and ABAP development tools separated in separated packages, name ranges, and so on. In the public cloud, the system is ensuring this, and the private cloud and private cloud and on-premise, strong recommendation really to separate these objects, as mentioned, as package, name range. The following key user tools are not available on-premise and private cloud: custom catalog extension and custom tiles. You have direct access to the SAP Fiori Launchpad Designer, which you do not have in public cloud. And for custom communication scenarios, you would do the configuration still with the famous old SM59. So my next topic is here about the integration with side-by-side extensibility. 1 second. I mentioned in the introduction session the side-by-side extensibility tools in SAP Build, especially the key user tools. Of course, there are tons of tools, on the on-stack and the side-by-side tools. And the question is, okay, how do I find the right tools? How do I manage the whole stuff? And here I'm really happy that I can present here for the first time the extensibility wizard, which integrates the on-stack and the side-by-side world in a better way. Without a further word, I will go directly here into a demo. Open again here an S4 system. Now, I've shown you before the Adapt UI option to go into the UI adaptation mode. And now in this system, the extension wizard is configured, and I can see here this new option, create extension. I want to click it. And now the extension wizard opens. So that is an artifact of our internal landscape that should not happen in your customer system. So what you can see here is that you can create multiple extensions from here. You can go back to the custom field app. You can go back to the custom logic app. This is basically the same flow as I showed before for the custom field here. So there's nothing new, but now here under custom processes, I can now create an extension on SAP BTP with SAP Build. Therefore, I go here to next and say, okay, custom process, I say next, and then now it asks me, okay, how do you want to start the process? Currently, only business events are implemented. More is to come here. And I click here the business event, and it loads now the event object. And as I started from the purchase order requisition app, it knows already the right events. This is the event object purchase requisition event. I click next. Now it has several events. For example, here, purchase requisition approved. I take this event, and then I go now. Purchase, follow up, and I say, okay, review, and then I say create, and now it creates here the process on the SAP BTP. We are here on the extensibility tab, and with the different extensibility apps, and we have this new section here, extensibility with SAP Build. And here you can click to this tile, and the SAP Build lobby opens that you have seen from other sessions. And what you can see here is that I've just created this new process, purchase requisition follow-up. And you could now just open it, click it, and then continue to work with a new process. Let me wrap this up. I've shown you here the extensibility wizard, and what I showed you before is that I started here from a SAP Fiori app, went into the wizard, and created the sub-build process automation. Other options that are still to come is that you from there can also create a sub-build apps project, that you can create a sub-build code project with CAP, for example, and that you can navigate from the lobby back and forth, and also from a landing page in S/4HANA, for example, into the lobby and also into the wizard, so that that you as a user have really an integrated feeling of the extensions that you create. So my last but not the least topic that I want to present today is the AI-powered extensibility. You've seen a lot of tools, and you will ask yourself, okay, where do you find the right tools? Where do I find the right API? Where do you find the right extension point? We have seen already the wizard that helps you, and in other sessions you have also seen other tool bridges and so on. But the good news is really that AI can really help here. And under the name Joule, SAP has announced the offering Joule for consultants and Joule for developers. I'm linking here Christian Klein's keynote. So you as a consultant or key user and developer can benefit from the AI capabilities. So without further words, let me also go here directly into the demo. Here I have to open again my screen and go to this application. And here again, I'm directly here in the custom fields and logic app. That would be one point where you could stay, where you could start the AI features. And this is now a labs preview system. So here the AI assistant is already installed. And let me go to my cheat sheet and ask here. Okay, this one, let me read it for you. I want to create a new field in the credit memo app. It shall have the name reason. It shall appear in the credit memo Fiori app and shall have a value help. Drop down with the following values: damaged, do not like it, bad day. So yeah, credit memo, you might know, that is something that a sales rep, if a customer is not satisfied with the product, then a sales rep can give some credit to the customer. So the AI is now suggesting several business contexts in which you could create now the custom field. And I'm reading through that. I'm not 100% convinced. So I ask back here, why do you suggest sales doc? Yeah. What you can see here also, you can rate the answer. You could show the references that were found by the AI for compiling the answer. And okay, here's the answers back. The sales doc business context is suggested because it relates to sales document, which includes the credit memo request. The credit memo request is a sales document. I do not want to read the complete text here. But I think now I'm happy with the stuff. Okay, and I say take sales doc. Again, and comes back soon with a concrete suggestion. And it says, okay, want to create a field reason type code list. This is the business context, length 10, and I say accept it. And now I'm here in the creation dialog that you already know. And here, finally, I have to fill some final things. For example, the code list, which were not taken over yet. And then I see create, and then I'm done with my custom field. So let me show this on the slides again. Yep, here. So this is our target picture. Yeah. So there is this extensibility AI assistant, which will help you not only with custom field, but also with custom logic and other stuff. And there will be several entry points for the key user. For example, the AI-powered smart search in the key user app that I just demoed, but also then Joule for consultants, Joule for developers. And then in the end, the extensibility assistant will guide you the tool. What I showed in the demo, what was the custom fields app, but it could also guide you to a developer tool if you are developer. So that is our target for this one, and it really looks promising, and I hope that this will reduce TCO a lot. So let me wrap it up. When you are creating extensibility, then you are confronted with a quartet of tools. Yeah, you have the developer tools, and you have the low-code tools. You have the on-stack versus side-by-side tools. And typically, you will use a combination of these tools. So the main problem is, where do I find the right tool? Where do I find the right API? Where do I find the right extension point? And how to use it? And I hope that I was able to show you that SAP is doing a lot in this area. Yeah, for example, with the extensibility wizard. In other sessions, you may also heard about other wizards, tool bridges, and so on. And finally, about the AI capability. So I have added further material to the session. I have also added a list of TechEd session that may be of interest for you. Yeah, and then I would like to say thank you for your attention and wish you the best for your next extensibility projects.